Chicago, 1893. A city racing toward the future. Factories roared, railroads carried millions, and the World's Fair promised wonder, innovation, and hope. But beneath the celebration, something darker was unfolding. People were arriving, and some were never leaving. No alarms were raised, no patterns were noticed, and at the center of this growing mystery stood a man who looked respectable, intelligent, and harmless. This is the story of H. Holmes, a man whose crimes didn't just shock a city, but helped turn crime into a national obsession.
H. Holmes was born in 1861 as Herman Webster Mudgett. By most accounts, his early life appeared unremarkable. He was intelligent and academically capable. Teachers noted his sharp memory and calm demeanor. But people also noticed something else. He was emotionally distant, unusually controlled, and skilled at presenting different versions of himself to different people. As he grew older, Holmes learned an important lesson. Trust could be engineered. He studied medicine and earned a medical degree, gaining credibility and authority in a society that deeply respected doctors. To the world, he was becoming successful. To himself, he was becoming invisible. In the late 1880s, Holmes moved to Chicago. At the time, Chicago was exploding with growth. People arrived daily for work, trade, and opportunity. Records were inconsistent, people changed names, and strangers blended easily into the crowd. For someone seeking anonymity, it was the perfect environment. Holmes purchased a pharmacy and quickly became a trusted figure in the neighborhood. Customers saw him as polite, professional, and reliable. Few questioned his past, fewer questioned his intentions. Chicago gave Holmes exactly what he needed: visibility without scrutiny. Near his pharmacy, Holmes began constructing a large, unusual building. From the outside, it appeared ordinary. Inside, it was confusing by design. Later nicknamed the Murder Castle, the structure became one of the most infamous locations in American crime history. According to later investigations, the building featured hallways that led nowhere, doors opening into blank walls, staircases that ended abruptly. Workers were often hired and dismissed before understanding the full layout. No single person ever saw the complete design. At the time, these irregularities raised little concern. Only later would investigators begin asking why a building needed to be so complicated. In 1893, Chicago hosted the world's Columbian Exposition. Millions visited from across the country and beyond. Hotels overflowed. Temporary jobs appeared everywhere. It was a time of opportunity and chaos. During this period, reports of missing individuals increased. Young women seeking work, travelers passing through the city, people without strong local connections. In an era without centralized records, disappearances were easy to overlook. People moved frequently, letters took weeks, silence was common. No single authority connected the dots. Holmes was not first investigated for murder. He was investigated for fraud. insurance schemes, false names, suspicious financial activity. As authorities examined these irregularities, they discovered a pattern of deception stretching back years. Multiple aliases, contradictory stories, vanishing associates. Each discovery raised new questions, and as investigators dug deeper, they uncovered details that shifted the case from financial crime to something far more serious. Once Holmes was arrested, newspapers moved quickly. Headlines became sensational. Details were dramatized. Speculation filled the gaps where facts were missing. For the first time, Americans followed a crime like a serialized story. Each day brought new revelations. Each article added mystery. Holmes became more than a suspect. He became a character. This moment marked a turning point. Crime was no longer just reported, it was consumed. Holmes eventually confessed to multiple crimes, but his confessions were inconsistent, at times contradictory, often theatrical. He claimed varying numbers of victims. Some historians believe he exaggerated for attention. Others believe many crimes were never fully uncovered. What remains certain is that Holmes controlled his narrative until the end. The truth became tangled with myth, fact blended with speculation, and uncertainty became central to the story. In 1896, Holmes was convicted, not for the full scope of alleged crimes, but for a single murder. He was sentenced to death. With his execution, the legal case ended, but the story did not. Public fascination intensified. Books were written. Legends grew. Holmes became a symbol, not just of crime, but of mystery. H. Holmes did not invent serial crime, but he changed how America engaged with crime. His case introduced national media obsession, psychological curiosity about criminals, crime as long-form narrative, modern true crime. Documentaries, podcasts, books still follow patterns established during this era. Holmes became more than a criminal. He became a story. And that transformation marked the birth of true crime as a genre built on mystery, on unanswered questions, and on the uneasy realization that sometimes the truth is never fully known.